Okay, so our first story, the Droid Incredible sells out its first run online. Apparently, you can add incredible demand to the list of adjectives describing Verizon's latest and greatest. The Droid Incredible sold out on Verizon's site in about 6 hours after its official launch. Pre-orders have been open for 10 days now, so it's not quite 6 hours, but still. Yeah. Never fear, however, if you didn't get your order in yet, as the next shipment won't be too far out. Orders placed today will ship May 4th. But other than that, I think you're out of luck.
Yeah, so. They said some retail locations still have them, but if you want to get one online, like you're pretty much out of luck.
Yeah.
Just walk down to your brick and mortar Verizon store and get one there because you're not getting one online.
That's big.
It's such a good phone. I'm still obsessed with it. I was so sad when I had to send it away this week. I felt like I was like shipping a child off to military school. I was just like, oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, here, just please. I can't even look at you.
I went and looked at your review again. I thought you gave a very fair and balanced review of it.
Well, that's good. I heard that from a lot of people.
But yeah, I think, you pointed out where it had flaws.
Everything's
got
flaws.
So I felt like you did a really good job.
Somebody made a good point about how it's a give and take with smartphones.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have things that you can't have everything in a phone. And I'm sure even the Evo, like as crazy as I am about the Evo, I'm sure it'll have its flaws.
Yeah.
And so I got that a lot. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, so next story is the unofficial Android app count reaches 50,000. So Andrew Leib, I guess it's pronounced, has reported that the total number of applications in the Android market has exceeded 50,000. Now, this is at odds with what Google itself reported during its Q1 earnings report. Jeff Huber, Google's Senior VP of Engineering, is on record as saying the app count is actually at 38,000, and that's Google's official count. So the 50,000 number is unofficial. I believe that's about what the iPhone has for the number of apps, if I'm not mistaken. Does anyone know that actual number?
I don't follow Apple at all.
Yeah. So we should ask Jeff anything about Apple.
Grouchy old Apple, codger. He's like, that Apple.
Tom, do you happen to know what that number is by any chance? The number of iPhone apps that are currently available?
Yeah, I think the number's 150,000 or something. It's a big number.
Okay, so it's still a ways to go.
So let's say if it's 150,000, they're a third of the way there.
Still, that's very impressive.
What, a year
given,
and a half, maybe?
So.
Yeah.
Okay,
pretty good.
Cool.
Not too bad.
All right, so moving right along. The Nexus 1 launches today on Vodafone, but never on Verizon. So this is an interesting story. I remember reading this right before I came in. So the good news is Vodafone customers can grab their Nexus 1s today.
Yeah.
They're available right now.
Pick it up today.
And they're free with a 2-year contract.
Which is so nice.
Yes,
like,
it's very nice.
We have to pay, $179 if you're on T-Mobile and $600 if you're not, for Nexus 1.
Yeah, so that's...
free. Yeah, it's just free.
So that's great.
I think I got to get rid of him somehow.
Oh, that sounded mean.
It was a little mean.
So Verizon customers who have been waiting and trying to figure out whether they want to get the Nexus 1 or the Incredible, basically just go buy the Incredible. Google has not said that it won't ever be available. They haven't explicitly said that. But the coming soon that they used to have on their website basically got yanked, and now it says, for Verizon's network, you can buy the Droid Incredible by HTC, a powerful Android phone, and similar blah, blah, blah. So basically a happy talk about, just go buy the Incredible, don't worry about the...
Pretty much.
We're not going to bother with this.
Yeah.
So, and actually there was an update later on where Google actually did provide a response, and this is a quote, "We won't be selling a Nexus 1 with Verizon, and this is a reflection of the amazing innovation happening across the open Android ecosystem." So, bottom line, they're saying, well, there's more choice, so that's why it's not going to be available.
There's better phones out there.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, there are going to be some Nexus 1 fanatics or evangelists who are upset with me, but I'm sorry, the Incredible is a better phone. Like, it's so similar that if you're going to, there's just no point. And having two phones competing with each other, it's going to take away from the totals for the Incredible. Why even bother bringing the next, trotting out the Nexus 1 is just going to divide sales between the two.
Right.
So, it's interesting to see Google deciding to not release a phone. So you think that's why they pulled it back, because they didn't want to squash the competition. They wanted to help it. Yeah, well, it's an Android phone, and so I think that for me...
In the hardware, they basically
cannibalized
and gave up their hardware competition to promote the overall Android platform, which is a bigger win for them.
Which is so glorious
Yeah.
with HTC Sense and everything. I mean, it's so amazing. And so it's interesting because we talk a lot about fragmentation through handsets and everything, to see Google actually rein it in for one and say, okay, we're going to let the Incredible go ahead and have its day. And the more people, like, for example, if the Nexus One had come out, let's say, the same day as the Incredible, you wouldn't see the Incredible selling out, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. So basically, it was worth it for the pop for the Incredible. So
It could just also be, when you compare the two phones, like the Incredible's got, it seems superior all around, and the Nexus One's had a lot of issues, so you don't really want to release them both on the same network. I mean, so when you're looking at it, your only option really for like a good new Android phone at the moment is the Nexus One on a lot of networks.
Right.
So why would you? They might as well just leave it on those other networks that don't have other options.
Right.
Interesting.
To avoid making fools of themselves by.
Well, they're very, on paper, they're very similar phones.
Yeah.
But but in practice, they're, from what I've heard and from what I've seen, I mean, they're so different. And also, I mean, I love the Incredible. I think it's a great phone.
Yeah, I think it's smart, because if you basically buy an Android device and you have a bad experience, then you're more likely to not buy an Android device a second time around and possibly defect to Apple or whatever.
And especially
I know you would never do that, Jeff, but most consumers might actually think that way. So, all right, so moving right along to the next story. Samsung to distribute Yahoo services on upcoming Android phones. So Yahoo announced a major strategic global partnership with Samsung that will bring Yahoo services to millions of Samsung mobile devices, including those that use Android. So it's not Android only. It's including Android, but not Android only. Samsung will begin distributing Yahoo services this May, so it's possible that the Galaxy S may be their first Android device, which will come preloaded with Yahoo services. AT&T has already removed Google search in favor of Yahoo.
We talked about that a few weeks ago.
But the other major U.S. carriers have stuck with Google services for their Android phones. So Samsung Android phones may come preloaded with one or more of these Yahoo branded services. So this is what you will get: Mail, Messenger, Contacts, Calendar, Mobile Front Page, Search, Flickr, News, Finance, and Weather. So,
I mean, I wonder if that's going to affect sales on the Galaxy, because for me, I consider Yahoo to sort of be a dying company.
I was going to say, gosh, this is exciting.
Yeah,
does anyone really give a rat's ass about Yahoo? I mean,
no.
A lot of people use it, though.
A lot of people
I've heard
use it.
The number one, I think they have more user accounts than Facebook, possibly. That doesn't mean people are using them actively, but people have their accounts, so.
It's like look, MySpace has got a lot of juice still too, but
for me, why take away the integration of Google apps, like the Google app structure, which is sort of the point of Android's OS? Like, why be like, well, if you don't use Gmail and you don't use Google Docs and you don't use Google Voice, why buy an Android phone? Like, if you're not going to take advantage of all of that great integration, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Hey, Tom, what do you think about this? You got an opinion on this?
It's I don't know, this entire topic of how much consistency there's going to be between all the various Android incarnations is a pretty interesting one. I tend to agree that the Droid Incredible is it seems a better instantiation of the Android platform than the Nexus One is, and so then you start to say, well, gosh, there's this great thing happening as OEMs had their own kind of spin on top of the OS. It's going to be kind of fun to see how it all shakes out, and really interesting as a developer, because we try to follow the user experience cues of the core platform, and it's kind of evolving to a point where those cues vary from device to device.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, next story. AdMob, those little ads that you get in your applications on your Android device, they serve up a lot of those ads. And they're now reporting that Android has now overtaken the iPhone in terms of requests, at least for the United States. So,
very interesting.
Yeah. So let me get into the nitty-gritty of that. Of the smartphones in the U.S., Android overtook iPhone usage 46% to 39%. However, in the U.K., the iPhone leads 70% to 13%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's really, obviously very different. The HTC Dream and Magic made up 96% of the traffic in September of 2009. 7 months later, 11 Android phones make up 96% of AdMob's traffic. So that's traffic from that they're serving up for ads. AdMob requests from Android phones grew at a compounded rate of 32% a month, from 72 million requests in March of 2009 to 2 billion in March of 2010. Handset by handset, the Motorola Droid continues to rock with 32% of AdMob's traffic. And the Nexus 1 had 2% as of March. So not greatly surprising given the reasons we stated over and over again. So AdMob, now remember, AdMob is still in the process of being purchased by Google. And these numbers are representative of the ads AdMob serves. So it's not necessarily of all smartphones overall. But nonetheless, it's a large, it's a very large market segment, so somewhat representative, I would say. So what do you guys think this means, if anything? Any interpretations?
I don't know. Maybe it's indicative of the sort of ecosystem behind the
Are there
Android
more
market.
ads
There's
in the Android
possibly
devices?
more ads. I don't know. I can't compare the two.
Yeah, right.
Having never touched an Apple device.
Touch an Apple device, I understand.
Yeah, I think that could be it.
I think that in terms of with OS 4 coming out and with iAd, and I think we're going to see Apple, especially now that Google has purchased AdMob, I think we're going to see Apple get farther and farther away from even using. So this may be just, in addition to people using Android, I think it might also be Apple kind of moving away from using AdMob in general. So I have a feeling that it's going to, at some point, I'm sure, over time, once Apple sort of removes themselves from AdMob, not entirely, because I don't know if that would be a smart business move, but mostly I think that we're going to see that number flip like in the UK. Like here it'll be 70%, Android and 13% iPhone. But it doesn't mean that they're not getting huge amounts of ad dollars with impressions, and especially with iAd coming out.
Okay. So one of the big stories of this week, just outside, just in computerdom in general, is the fatwa that Steve Jobs issued on Flash.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, so that was, it was a pretty strong, STFU to Adobe, I think.
Yeah.
And so, interestingly enough, Andrew Rubin, VP of Engineering for Google, and one of the chiefs behind Android smartphones, now says Flash is coming in the Froyo version of Android. So, unequivocally, he stated that there will be full support in the next version. So I don't know exactly when that date is.
Well, they announced that today. They said that it's going to be, they're going to have, at I.O., they're going to have a hands-on and demoing and everything. And then in June, they're going to actually, have it, like it's going to be out, done, Froyo. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the Evo is going to be released. It'll be the first phone to be released, Android-wise, that'll have full Flash support on it. In fact, they may time the release of the Evo with the release of Froyo and Flash.
Wow.
I'm going to call it right now.
Call it now.
That'd be a strong move. So, Tom, any thoughts on this? Curious to see what you think about this.
I think obviously we've made a big investment on Flash on the web, but in mobile have always pursued native applications, and I think would continue to do so even if there was Flash on the phone. So my thoughts on this probably aren't so directly related to Pandora as they are just kind of as an end user, and it seems to me that the entire debate has been a little academic to this point. I mean, there's not a sort of smartphone savvy version of Flash in the market today.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be really interesting when Adobe and Google together ship their implementation of what they think is a credible Flash solution for the smartphone space, and then consumers will just I think ultimately have control of it. They'll if Flash on smartphones is a critical part of the web experience, consumers will turn to the Android platform so they can get that experience, and it'll be really interesting to see how the other players respond.
Okay, next story. PayPal becomes an additional payment option for the Android market. Some good news for those of you who can't use Google Checkout in their countries or don't like it. PayPal has found a way to incorporate its payment system with Android, and that will soon be offered as a payment option in the Android market. They expect this to be ready in Q2 of this year, so a few weeks from now, and will support several countries, including the United States, Australia, Canada, France, UK, Italy, and the Netherlands. Are you guys going to use this?
No. Google Checkout's fine. It takes 10 seconds.
Yeah, I guess this is for people that don't have, that just don't have access to it.
This is for people who use Yahoo as their default stuff like that.
Well,
that
there
must
you go.
be it.
That's who cares.
Maybe that's why. But you know what? PayPal might have heard that news and said, you know, we should probably launch support for the market so that we can grab up all those users.
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't already have a Google Checkout account, I might use my PayPal account.
I'd probably use PayPal, right?
Because it's easy.
That's true.
Okay. So this is a quick one. Want a custom HTC keyboard for your Android phone? Now you can get one. So if you want to have Hello Kitty, Batman, Spider-Man, Boba Fett, whatever.
It's really cool. I saw that and I was just like, I was excited because it just gives a little bit of character. Like some of them are really overboard, but then like there's some that are really subtle, like the Mandalorian one.
Yeah, we should be clear about this. We're talking about a soft keyboard, not like, you know, it won't actually physically make your hard
virtual.
keyboard.
It's the virtual keyboard.
It's the virtual keyboard that comes on the screen.
Right.
So yeah.
So feel free to go grab one of those, and we'll have the link up on the show site. So.
Okay, so this one's kind of cool. Google image search was just updated for Android 2.1 and later. So basically, if you didn't like it before and you missed that stuff that you can get on the web, like being able to sort of go through pages of images, and then when you blow up an image, just go to the next image, and just scroll through it, that's now available. I have not actually seen it in action, but I did see a movie of it. So, and it looks really great. I mean, it's very much easier to use now. So
it's lovely.
I got it right here.
Yeah,
he's
nice.
I guess we don't have the Android cam up, but you can blow it up and page through it.
But it really is nice.
There is a link to a movie that we'll put up on the show notes afterwards, so everyone can see it. Okay, Layar, that's Layar, not Layer. Layar Content Store gives virtual reality in exchange for real cash. So now there are actual Layar applications. Right? Premium Layar applications. So one of the ones that I was just at Disneyland like a weekend ago, and I had my iPhone with me, and I couldn't download a good Disneyland app. Well, actually, there were several, but they were too large. They wouldn't allow me to download them remotely.
Oh, I see.
Because they exceeded the band. They wouldn't let me do it over the Edge
Wi-Fi,
network.
Yeah.
So,
the Edge network.
Yes.
Sorry, that's
no,
Edge.
it's painful, but anyway. So I was basically, there's nothing. I had an iPhone at Disneyland, and it did me no good, which is sad.
Well, if you had an Android phone.
If only I had Android and I had my Layar. Well, I gave you my Android phone, so I didn't have it.
I've been wandering around with the Droid these days.
So I have, but Layar would basically has an app that Mouse Reality for Disney World and Disneyland helps me find and navigate all attractions, shows, shops, blah blah blah. So I just hold it up and oh look, the Haunted Castle, the Magic Castle,
no,
not
different.
that.
Keep going.
Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion is over there. Pirates of the Caribbean over there, that sort of thing. I guess there's little Easter eggs in there, and things related to Disneyland that are.
Excuse me,
that's
everybody.
Great. So that would have been really awesome. Actually, I could have really used that. There were a couple times where we got a little bit, we weren't quite sure where this or that thing was, and it would have been nice to have had. So.
But I think it's really neat. They've even got they've got city. It's mostly tour guide sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I just think it's really neat that they're doing pay for content that's a little bit more polished, a little bit more, a little bit full. It's very full and rich experience as opposed to something like I'm going to find where my nearest In-N-Out is. Where's the burgers on my screen?
Well, I think that's been the complaint with Layar and augmented reality.
Sucks.
Yeah, augmented reality.
Cool.
It's kind of nice. It's kind of cool, but it's not really. It hasn't been useful or practical.
Right.
It's been a little bit. It's sort of like VRML was when you remember when Vermal first came out when the web was young, and people were like, "Oh, awesome, Vermal."
No, Mark, I don't remember.
I know.
Never mind.
Sorry. If you were there and you remember, it was basically a 3D protocol that was meant to be like the 3D version of HTML for graphics.
Okay.
Everyone oohed and awed over it and thought, oh, this is the future of the web. Web pages will go away and we'll wander around in virtual stores. And, of course, it was BS. So, nonetheless, this sort of strikes me in some ways the same sort of thing. It remains, but this is practical. It's the first time I've seen something
Barb
practical.
was saying about how cool, I think it was Barb who was saying how cool it would be to have Layar tour guide like that, like this is, but then with Google Translate built into it, where you can hold it up to a sign and it'll translate what it says.
Well, that would be very cool.
That's when Layar transcends into the mainstream, I think.
Yeah.
I still want a retinal implant so I can get augmented reality that way.
All right.
Let's do our last news story and move on.
Moving right along. So Sony to announce the Android TVs running on Atom, which is the Intel chip, at Google I/O. So a few weeks back, Intel announced that they'd ported Android to their Atom series of processors. And now there's a rumor floating around that Sony has been working in collaboration with Google to make a television set that runs Android, and that they will unveil it at Google I/O May 19th and 20th in San Francisco. So Sony is trying to see if there's any interesting details in here. So they reference this new version is something they call Dragon Point, but we don't know yet whether it's a reference to an entirely new OS or simply a user interface being developed by Sony for the new television. So it's possible this is not true.
Yeah. I think, this is like a big rumor about how they're going to have this sort of, competitor to Apple TV, or like have Google TV built into the TV. And I'm very curious to see.
Yeah. I'm sure somebody's working on an Android television. I mean, that much strikes me as real. But whether this is it or not remains to be seen.
Yeah,
we'll see. We talked about several weeks ago, I can't remember who it was, but they were building a set and they decided the hardware was too expensive.
I think it was Panasonic.
It was
Panasonic. Yeah.
So they said, we're just not going to support that.
Right, yeah. So this could be the first one. We'll see.
Yep. Right.
It'll be interesting to see what Google announces at I/O. I would like to go. If anybody has an extra ticket, or because I think you can you can call them and be like, oh, I can't go. If you get sick, I'd be more than happy to take your place. Just let me know. And if you have an extra ticket, I would be happy to be your escort to whatever after parties exist, and I can talk to everybody. It'll be fun.